Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes. Today we should be getting the reveal of the next set of seasonal units, special heroes, to enter into the game. We're expecting something Halloween-based naturally, and as you can see from the silhouette to the left here, it looks like there's definitely going to be some female characters involved. Whether or not there's a duo unit or a harmonic unit, we'll have to see, but if I were a betting man, I'd say that we're probably going to be getting a harmonic unit this time around. I've seen a lot of guesses as to the silhouettes themselves. On the right, it does look a lot like Orochi, but that could just be throwing us off. It's Halloween, right? People dress up in all kinds of different ways, so you never know. I would love to see Orochi. I think Orochi should have been in the game by now. I actually really like her. So I'd be really happy if it's her. On the left, a lot of people are saying Ninian, but I honestly feel like it could be anybody with that hair. So we'll just have to see. We'll go ahead and start watching the trailer together for the first time. I'm not going to be looking at my screen until after the splash of all of the characters so we can be surprised together. So let's get started. All right, let's get this show on the road. Looking away, looking away. Let's wait for the flash. Alright, and we'll look back up right about now. Hey! Fall Vessel! That's a cheeky little Grima there. Okay, Flying Dragon. I like the ears and the paws. Nice. Moonless Breath. Okay, Dragon Scale. Alright, Dragon's Ire 3. That's a new B slot that I see there. That looks like it's inheritable. Interesting.
Prepare to be eaten.
Yeah. Alright, what's up next? Autumn Trickster. Oh my gosh, he's a jester. Xane, he is going to be a... Is that colorless tome? Colorless infantry tome user? Joker's Wild, Reposition, Attack Res, Form 3, and Infantry Hexblade 3. So he's all out in his jester uniform. I like it, I like it. Harvest Goldoan. Got Vampiric Dheginsea, Armored Dragon. So we got a lot of dragons going on here. Blackfire Breath Plus. It's inheritable. Interesting. Sturdy Stance 3, Slick Fighter 3. That sounds kind of dangerous. Oh, look at that dragon sprite.
I will take my tribute in sweets.
That looks pretty... That's kind of hype. That's kind of hype. Alright, Harmonic Hope. It is going to be the pair of Ninian and Tiki. Flying Blue Dragon, okay. Frostfire Breath, Rally Up Speed Plus, Attack Speed Push 4, Aerobatics, and with everyone. So this is an all-dragon banner. Dragons out to wazoo, here to celebrate Halloween. Oh, I love the little horns that are on the dragon, the Tiki dragon. Okay, that's good. Harmonized skill, I completely missed it, so we're gonna have to take a closer look later. But there they are together. And what are they gonna do? That adds a buff effect. I love the horns. I love the little horns on that dragon sprite. And the jack-o'-lantern breath. Dragon's Harvest. So very appropriately named, of course. Let's see if they reveal a new character here. So it looks like they are revealing a new character over on the right-hand side. I can't tell who that is, unfortunately. It looks like they're just like a Chinese ghost, though. Like a traditional Chinese ghost, the ones that kind of have the long sleeves and hop, and have the talisman on their face. From that sprite, I just can't tell who that is. But it's a red dragon, for what that's worth. Of course, by the time this video goes up, the notifications in the game will be updated, so you all know who it is. But we're getting a free red dragon, it looks like. So special heroes are here starting on the 8th of October all the way until the 7th of November, as is the tradition with a seasonal special heroes banner. We're going to have a full month to summon for these units. Looks like Xane, Autumn Trickster, is going to be the 4-star focus of the banner. Good that they're keeping true to maintaining that standard, so we are getting a 4-star demote, which is nice. And then we're going to get a harmonic duo unit as well. So that's very exciting, and a dragon pair. dragon theme. I see the name of the actual banner itself is called Dragon's Harvest now, which again is very, very appropriate. Even color distribution across the board. The duo or harmonic unit is going to be blue. The 4-star focus is going to be colorless. So that's very interesting that we're getting a 4-star focus colorless tome user. Wouldn't have expected that. They're on the rarer side, and of course, Xane being a seasonal unit, he's still going to be on the rarer side. You're not going to be able to see him on a whole ton of different banners going forward, but he's going to be relatively easy to get here. I mean, if you want a colorless tome user, you know, Zane's a good time to go in for one. So something to consider. Well, let's go ahead and rewind, take a closer look at the units themselves, a closer look at their art, closer look at their kits, kind of make an overall decision as to the overall value of the banner as a whole. So let's get started. Alright, so first we got Fall Vessel, which is Robin. I love this. Let's take a quick look. So the art's by Tefish. I adore the fact that she's got the fluffy ears and the paws, but she's not really dressed up. I mean, so she's got like fluffy lining on her shorts and stuff too. She's got like a tuft in front. Her cape is in tatters, although she's, you know, kind of evil. She's Grima, so I guess that's not entirely out of the ordinary. She's got some claws on her feet as well. So it's like, it's not an overbearing furry design, but at the same time, it's got like cute accents. And Robin herself is pretty cute, so it just kind of, it fits pretty well. I actually like this art a lot. I think it looks great. And so she's going to be a flying green dragon. Okay, let's keep going. Take a look at what she's actually got as far as a kit is concerned. So, well, first off, I like how Grima has a little jack-o'-lantern on his head. That's pretty awesome. Let's take a look. That's always been one of the things that I've lamented. When we have seasonal dragons, they don't gussy up the dragon sprites. That's always been something that I harp on every time, and I'm so grateful that they're finally doing something with them. Make them fun. Seasonals are supposed to be fun. Make them fun. So anyway, Moonless Breath. 16 might weapon. It's going to be her exclusive weapon, dragon weapon. Unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range, so it's got built-in distant counter, already solid. If unit is within 2 spaces of an ally and deals damage to foe using a special, restores 30% of unit's maximum HP. Okay. Triggers even if 0 damage is dealt. If foe's range is equal to 2, okay, so adaptive damage. That is interesting. So she's got not only distant counter built into her weapon, she also has a heal effect. So essentially, if you're using any damage dealing special, it doesn't have to be, she has Noontime, of course, which heals her. But even if she didn't have Noontime, she would restore 30% of her HP every time she procced her special. That's pretty solid. I mean, you have to think about, you know, take into consideration the value of a damage dealer plus heal, you know, something like Ether, like Radiant Ether, like a lot of the other skills out there, you know, and Moonless Breath having a healing effect means that you can double up on that with something like Noontime, but at the same time, if you just want to go straight damage, she's going to reap a lot of benefits by healing 30% of her maximum HP. That's not bad, although I wonder what her HP stat is going to be. That's, of course, going to, you know, if she's anything like Legendary Grima, she's going to have relatively balanced stats, in which case her HP stat will be okay. So, yeah, no, I'm all about that. That's pretty cool. I do like this addition of kind of adding effects to specials through the weapon or through other skills. And it does really just enhance, I mean, it kind of overall enhances her ability and versatility in terms of what specials she can use. She wants to go all in on the healing and sustainability, or if she wants to just go in all in on the damage and then just reap the benefits from the healing as well. It's pretty cool. A Dragon Scale for the A slot. Neutralizes effect against flying bonuses. Legendary Grima had this as well, of course, in that she doesn't have to worry about archers or any other flying bonus weapons. If foe initiates combat, or if foe's HP is at 100% at the start of combat, inflicts attack res -6 on foe and grants special cooldown charge +1 per foe's attack during combat. Interesting. So it has basically a breath effect, more or less. She gets to inflict a debuff and get an additional special charge, which of course will work great with Moonless Breath because she wants to proc her special to be able to heal. So that's pretty nice. I mean, that's definitely not bad. The neutralizing effect against flying bonuses is by itself is kind of weak. I think there are ways around that for flyers in general, and but having it in addition and paired to this other effect is actually very powerful. So It's an easy condition. She just has to be enemy phasing, or if the foe's HP is at 100%, which means that even if she's initiating on somebody and they have 100% HP, she's going to get this effect, which is great. A -6 in combat debuff. I've said before, in combat debuffs are hard to neutralize, and so she's going to get the advantages of that, and she's going to get the +1 charge. So not bad. Definitely not a bad A slot, and it's exclusive to her. Dragon's Ire 3. Now, this is interesting. It's a B slot. It's going to be inheritable, presumably inheritable to dragons. Let's see what it is. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 50% and foe initiates combat, neutralizes effects that prevent unit's follow-up attacks, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Interesting. Okay. So that's really strong, actually. Now, not only does it guarantee a follow-up attack, it also nullifies an enemy's ability to, like a wary fighter effect. It nullifies the wary, it nullifies the prevent counterattacks, or prevent follow-up attacks in general. Yeah, that's pretty strong. That means that basically she's going to get her attacks, and she's going to follow up no matter what. And the condition is 50% HP or higher, which is a pretty decent, easy condition to meet, especially considering that Moonless Breath has a self-sustain and healing ability built into it. So she's going to be, even if she is tanking hits, as long as she procs her special, she's going to be healing back up and having, Dragon's Ire able to be activated. Now, it's an and condition, which means she needs 50% HP and she needs to be enemy phasing. So, just bear that in mind. Presumably this is at the start of combat. So as long as she has above 50% HP at the start of combat, and then she takes the hit, then she's going to be able to counterattack, and not only counterattack, but follow up, which is pretty nice. I see that it doesn't prevent the enemy's follow up. It only prevents the enemy from preventing your follow up, if that makes sense. So what that means, though, if she's enemy phasing, that means that I don't know where her speed is going to be. I'm assuming it's not going to be very high. If her speed is going to be on the lower side, she's going to get doubled before she can double back. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. But I think that because of the condition of having to be enemy phasing, that means that she's going to have to tank 2 hits, essentially, if her speed isn't really up to par, which it may not be. I don't know. Based on the kit, doesn't look like she would have remarkable speed, but maybe she's balanced. We'll see. And then Go Dragons for the C slot. Grants attack speed +4 to dragon allies within 2 spaces during combat. The Goads and the Fortifies, I mean, the Goads and the Wards continue to be powerful effects. Even after the first generation of skills, they're still strong. So I'm liking Grima's kit here. Honestly, I think it's fun. I think it's built to play around with. You can go full sustain. You can do a hybrid, and you can do full damage and heal back. Her condition synergizes. Dragon's Ire synergizes with the healing effect. And Dragon's Ire being an inheritable weapon, I'm curious to see if it has any movement limitations. I would suspect that it is going to be limited to dragons, of course, but I'm curious, Grima is a flyer. I'm wondering if it's limited to flying dragons as well. We'll have to see. But I like her. I do like Grima. I think the kit works, for sure. Let's see what she's got. She's going to tank this hit, of course, get those ghosts. Proc the noontime, and she's got you get a little better view of her feet claws here. Oh, nice. She's got like a giant floofy tail behind her, too. That's really cool. I like her outfit. I think it's like not overdone, but it has the accents, and I don't know. It's funny because Grima always tries to be like super threatening, but she just comes across as just adorable. So, all right. So up next, we've got the Autumn Trickster. Master of Mischief indeed. So here's Xane. He's going to be a colorless tome user, which again is very interesting for a 4-star hero. He's definitely all out in the Jester garb. There's no question about what he is here. He's got the cards floating around him. He's got the checkerboard pattern. He's got the colors. And he's got the face paint. It all comes together. I mean, he looks like what he is. I think, so this was the silhouette of the character on the right, which a lot of people were predicting could have been Orochi. Unfortunately, Orochi's going to have to wait for another day. But we are getting Xane here, and he looks pretty cool. Let us see what his skills are. Now, bear in mind, he is the 4-star focus unit. But as a 4-star focus unit, it looks like he's getting his own unique weapon. So it's not going to be inheritable. Joker's Wild. It's a 14 might gray tome, or colorless tome. Grants HP plus 5. Yeah, I don't know about this. Okay, so units attack speed defense res equals highest respective stat from among allies within 2 spaces during combat. What? Calculates each stat bonus independently at start of combat. If unit stat is highest, unit stat will decrease. So units attack speed defense res equals highest respective stat among allies. Interesting. Wow, that's so weird. So it's not like he gets a bonus attack speed defense res based upon the highest of his allies. It's that he actually just assumes the attack speed defense res of his allies, which makes sense because he was talking about impersonations, so that kind of fits into his character. So that's so weird. So if he has the highest stat, he'll just impersonate the closest highest stat next to him, which means he'll get a stat decrease. That is such a weird ability. It's very unique and really interesting. I don't know how useful it is, but it's super interesting. Like, I think that, I mean, if you have a bunch of stat monsters on your team, of course, you know, maybe this works out. But so it's highest respective stat from among allies within 2 spaces during combat. So it just kind of ignores his own stat line and just absorbs. And it's kind of interesting. Maybe he has really impressive stats. If you don't want to absorb somebody's stats or impersonate somebody's stats, then you just need to be away, like beyond 2 spaces from one of his allies, and then he'll use his own stat line. That's such a weird ability. That's really cool though. Like I'm just surprised because we've like really never seen anything like that before. Reposition, so he's going to be served as a reposition as a 4-star, which is fine. Reposition is always valuable. Attack res form 3. So grants attack res plus X to unit during combat. X is equal to 2 times the number of allies within 2 spaces, plus 1, max 7. Form skills are great. I think they're super solid. I think they are kind of an extension of the bond skills in a certain way, and also kind of prevent certain debuffs for being adjacent to allies and things like that. Adds versatility to him as well, because Xane wants the option of either being 2 spaces away from somebody or you know, more than 2 spaces away from somebody, so he can use his own stat line. So it gives him a little bit more positioning flexibility, I would say. Infantry Hexblade 3, if adjacent infantry allies use sword, lance, axe, bow, or dagger, grants attack speed plus 2 to those allies and calculates their damage using the lower of the foe's defense res during combat, so it gives them adaptive damage. That's fine as a support unit, although I don't get a good feel for Xane being a support unit. I don't really know what he is. I mean, he's kind of all over the place. He's a joker for sure. I mean, you can do and assume whatever you want to, and he could yield some very interesting strategies. At the very least, he's a colorless infantry tome user, which is rare. I mean, his colorless tomes in general are rare. So this is an opportunity to get one for relatively cheap because he's going to be a 4-star hero. So I'm kind of feeling this kid. It sounds really interesting. At least I like interesting things. I don't care about overpowered or, you know, something just hugely destructive. I think unique things are interesting. So Dheginsea here is an armor dragon and red with this badass sprite, both his regular sprite and his dragon sprite. So he's got Blackfire Breath Plus, and this is an inheritable dragon weapon. 14 might. If unit is not adjacent to an ally, inflicts attack res -5 on foe during combat and neutralizes foe's bonuses to attack and res, so they're activated buffs during combat. If foe's range, okay, so adaptive damage. That's okay. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, I would say that it's definitely a contender as far as inheritable breaths are concerned. But of course, he has to be not adjacent to an ally. So he has to be running solo or, you know, within 2 spaces, which means he can use the form skills, of course, like I was just talking about with Xane. And then the in-combat debuff and nullifying the opponent's activated buffs, you know, that's a solid combination of things. I was expecting a little bit more from something called Blackfire Breath Plus, but it's fine. It's solid, I would say. It definitely has applications. Definitely see people going for it to inherit it for their specific strategies. A Draconic Aura for the special, Sturdy Stance 3 for the A slot. If foe initiates combat, grants attack defense +6 during combat, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. So it sounds like he's going to be mostly enemy phase based as an armor. Makes sense that he would be enemy phase based, I guess. So he's probably going to have pretty high defensive stats, and then of course Sturdy Stance is just going to enhance that further, and has a survivability by preventing the enemy from getting special charge. So Slick Fighter 3, this is interesting. It's a new fighter skill for B slots, or new fighter skill for armors on the B slot. So let's see. If unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, very, very easy condition to meet, and foe initiates combat. So as long as he's enemy phasing, which we've already established, he wants to be enemy phasing, neutralizes penalties on unit during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Interesting. Neutralizes penalties, and that's wide-reaching. That's, you know, that's panic, that's debuffs, that's movement-based, that's gosh, what else? I mean, anything, right? You know, preventing the ability to counterattack. So if he got hit with a dazzling effect, essentially, where he won't be able to counterattack, you know, the Slick Fighter would neutralize that during combat as long as his HP is above 25%. He could have the pick of the litter. I mean, if you could inherit Vengeful Fighter on him, in addition to potentially using Slick Fighter, and then kind of use them interchangeably depending on what you need to do and what you need to accomplish on a map. So yeah, his kit's solid. I would say it's not quite as impressive or unique as the other two. I would especially say that that Xane's is the most unique. And I would say that Grima's is probably better, or at least more fully realized. But no, he's got a game plan for sure. You can definitely tell. This is his transformation. That sprite though is so cool. I like how his like abdomen even like kind of shakes a little bit as he kind of roars. It's so cool. And here he is, covered in sweets. It's really nice. I will take my tribute in sweets. I like it. I like it. And there he goes. Yep, the vampire bat breath. Harmonic Hope. We've got the pair of Ninian and Tiki. They're looking very cute together. Flying blue dragon. So Tiki is going to be the point character, and Ninian is going to be behind her. And they're going to have Frostfire Breath. So it's going to be non-inheritable, unique to them, 16 might. It's going to be effective against dragon foes, as Tiki's weapons tend to be. Grants attack +3. That's certainly solid. If bonus is active on unit, grants attack speed +6 during combat, and also grants bonus to unit's attack equal to total bonuses on unit's defense and res times 1.5 during combat. If foe's range is 2 or equal to 2, calculates the damage. So it's got adaptive damage. Okay, so let's break that down. Dragon effectiveness, attack +3, adaptive damage. Let's look at the one in the middle. So if a bonus is active, and bonus means rally or hone activations, things like extra movement, or effects like dominance that you have with certain duo units and things like that, as long as there's a buff, basically, an activated buff that lasts one turn on them. They get +6 to attack and speed during combat, an in-combat debuff, which is very solid, and also grants bonus to units' attack equal to the total bonuses on units' defense and res times 1.5 during combat. So this is where it gets a little bit interesting. It's almost like a tome, a blade tome effect, except it's specific to her defensive stats. So if she has an activated buff on her defense and res, that activated buff times 1.5, so 1.5 times whatever that buff is, will get added to her attack total. It's kind of weird and kind of convoluted. It kind of encourages you to well, I guess what it does is it really encourages you to buff their defensive stats, and maybe their harmonic skill boosts their defensive stats. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. And then not only do they get a bonus to defensive stats, they get 1.5 times that onto their attack. So they get a huge attack bonus, and that meets the condition of a bonus active on the unit. So that's really strong. I mean, that's 1.5 times. We haven't seen like a multiplier like that before. We've seen, you know, blade tomes where it adds the effect or adds to the unit's attack on the basis of any bonuses on the unit for their other stats, but we haven't seen a multiplier like that. Rally up speed plus, grants speed +6 to target ally and allies within 2 spaces of target excluding unit for 1 turn. That's fine. Attack speed push 4. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed plus 7. And after combat, if unit attack, deals 5 damage to unit. The push 4 skills are excellent. I feel like I say this every reaction video. Yeah, they're excellent. Aerobatics for the B slot. Unit can move to a space adjacent to any infantry, armored, or cavalry ally within 2 spaces. So encouraging her to be in hybrid or mixed teams, which is fine. And then with everyone for the B slot, or excuse me, for the C slot is going to be, you know, Tiki's unique C slot skill. At start of turn, if unit is adjacent to an ally, grants defense res plus 5 to unit and adjacent units allies for 1 turn. So that's the same as her legendary version of with everyone. So out of the gate, she already looks strong. I was talking about how she didn't really need buffs to her stats, or you don't really want buffs to her stats, but it looks like her speed stat might be decent, considering she has attack speed push 4, and then also considering she gets speed bonuses for Frostfire Breath. So, you know, I don't really know, but she's going to take full advantage of any buffs to her defensive stats. All right, so let's take a look at their attacking art. Alright, so they don't both transform there, but the pair is definitely cute together. Very clean, colorful art, very festive as you would expect from Halloween. Not terribly spooky or anything, but certainly on the cute side of things. I like that she has the horns. Tiki has the horns here, which of course show up on her actual dragon sprite as well. So let's keep going and take a look at that dragon sprite. Yeah, I would have liked Ninian to transform as well. That would have been cool. But so her harmonized skill, or their harmonized skill, grants resonance blades to unit and allies from the same titles as unit. So that's just a map-wide buff. Blades being attack speed plus 4 during combat for 1 turn, which is a very, very solid buff. Grants another action to ally with the highest HP that is within 2 spaces, has already acted, and is from the same titles as the unit. What? Allies with sing or dance can be granted this effect as well? What? If multiple units meet the conditions, effect will not trigger. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. So, alright. So first of all, she has a ranged dance, which is absurd. And she has a ranged dance that... she has a ranged dance that can work on dancers. I don't like that. I really don't like that. I already have strong feelings about the strength of dancers in this game in general. The fact that they are adding a character and a harmonized skill that adds a refresh that can also be refreshing dancers is absurd. Now, so taking a step back, of course, harmonized duo skills in general, they're not going to be utilized by the AI. So in terms of there being like horrible like in AI's hands, this would be awful. But it's not. I mean, it's only in the player's hands. And again, strengthening the player's ability to utilize skills, I generally speaking don't have a problem with. I think this is a little bit of an easy mode button. I mean, I feel like not only is it a ranged dance, grants another action to an ally, but again, the fact that it can refresh dancers is just unprecedented. And so you can get like chain dancing going, which again, I just feel is really not, it wasn't needed. I feel like nobody was asking for this and nobody needed this. Because not only that, it also grants blades. Like blades is already a good effect, and then it just dances and refreshes. And then also the weird aspect of it: if multiple units meet the conditions, effect will not trigger. But if you happen to have 2 units with the exact same HP stat within 2 spaces that already acted and were from the title, then the harmonized skill just wouldn't work. You would get the resonance blade effect, but you wouldn't get any other effect, which is really weird. I guess they just couldn't remedy it. Like they couldn't figure out how to, or rather maybe they just didn't want to let the player choose. Maybe there was a logistic reason for it, but that just seems weird. It seems like a weird thing where you have 2 units with 61 HP that meet all the other conditions, and then you just can't dance them because of that little quirk. But anyway, like I'm saying, I'm getting sidetracked here. I think that this harmonized skill is absurd. So you're getting resonance blades. Not only are you getting resonance blades, you're getting a refresh on an ally with the highest HP within 2 spaces. Yeah, I mean, I think that's ridiculous. And you have to think about it. They can use the harmonized skill after they've taken their action. It doesn't have to be before they've taken their action. So they can move into range of an ally, do whatever they need to do, and then they can use their harmonized skill to refresh an ally Heck, they could even refresh an ally that's a dancer so that they can dance themselves. It's just so weird. I'm honestly just not keen on it because I just don't think dancers need to be any stronger in the game than they already are. But here it is. I mean, here we've got them. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's if I'm reading it right, which I hope I am. It sounds like an absurd effect, and so like she's going to grant a refresh to Nils, who is a dancer, right? Yeah, and the blade effect. And so she's going to be able to attack, and then Nils is going to be able to refresh her, which is just that's crazy. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, it's here. We got to deal with it now, and it's fine. Remember that it's only going to be in a player's hands, so it's really just going to make the players that much stronger, which is fine. But you know, I just think it's a little absurd personally. But it is, of course, you're going to have to meet the condition of being from the same games, the same titles, right? But yeah, even so, I don't know. Anyway, that certainly kind of tipped, I think, the scales as far as the value of the banner. I think the harmonic duo of Ninian and Tiki are extremely powerful. I think that they have huge value as far as opening up so many opportunities like crazy. And we just got a duo dancer in the context of duo Sigurd, and now we're getting another harmonic dancer, well, quote-unquote refresher, because they don't technically count as a dancer, in the form of Ninian and Tiki. So they're certainly the prize of the banner in terms of overall just overwhelming utility and power and ability. I think that they're kind of a shoe-in there. I think most people are probably going to be going for them. I think Grima is next. I think Grima is very good. I just don't think she's as absurd as the Harmonic hero is on this banner. But I think she's definitely a solid unit to go for, just based on the kit that she's got. Now, I'd probably put Dheginsea next as just being overall solid as an enemy phase dragon armor. Not a lot of frills there, but I think he brings a new skill, which is interesting, and brings new utility to for fighter skills for armors out there. And then Xane, I'm reluctant to say Xane is the worst. I mean, I think Xane is the most, probably potentially even the most interesting in the banner, to be honest with you. And he's a colorless user as well. He's going to be easier to get as a 4-star hero. He has a lot to offer, to be honest. I think that if people want to go in for Xane, I don't blame them. I think this banner as a whole is actually pretty good. For me personally, I don't know if I would go in hard on the banner. As far as the duo units, because I don't use dancers that much. So I just don't know if I would really go in for them. I do think that they open up a lot of fun possibilities. I kind of want to go in for Grima because I think she looks really cute here, but I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of recovering my orb count anyway, so I'm not really sure. I'll play it by ear and decide, what I want to do. In terms of just overall value of the banner, I do think that it's worth going in. If you're fans of any of these characters, I think this is absolutely worth going in for, especially for the Harmonic hero, because I think, again, if I'm reading that Harmonic skill right, it's pretty absurd. So let me know in the comments below if you're excited for Dragon's Harvest, and if you are, which of these units you're going to be going for. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get all of the copies that you're looking for of your respective units. Good luck out there. Happy summoning. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.